Welcome back to my channel, and today is a great day. Today we'll be building, reviewing, and most importantly comparing, which you should stay tuned for, of this Lego Crocodile Locomotive set. This is 18 plus set number 10277, and then with 1271 pieces. So let's get to the building and the rest of the video. Just a little bit of warning, this might be a long video, but it was definitely a lot of pleasure for me to make it. All right, I finished the build of the Lego Swiss Crocodile Electric Locomotive. As you can see, this is a very nice build. It looks very realistic and accurate to the actual train. This is actually very close to what the model train would look like. But the build itself wasn't anything too complicated. It consisted mainly of 4 parts. I mean, you have a display track, then you have 3 other main pieces of the build. There is a slight gap in between the engine and the driver compartment, but I guess this could be fixed with some modifications to the side of the engine. So this shouldn't be a huge problem. This locomotive does not come motorized out of the box, so in order to make it run on the train track, you will need to equip it separately with a power-up Technic motor, which is set number 88013, and Bluetooth receiver, which is set number 88009. I also picked up the remote control, so I don't have to use a power-up application. All those power-up items I did pick up at Bricklink, and they were fairly expensive. So let's go ahead and get those installed into the locomotive. And as in the previous version of an infrared receiver box, for this Bluetooth receiver box, you would also need a screwdriver to go ahead and unscrew the cap, and you would need to use 6 AAA batteries. I went ahead and installed power up into the locomotive. As you can see, in order to install the power ups, you will be losing the interior, which is kind of unfortunate, but there's nothing you can do about it. The power ups sit there pretty well, a little bit snug, but they do fit fine. I also was able to connect the remote control to the Bluetooth receiver. In case you're wondering, it takes 4 AAA batteries. So let's go ahead and put this on the layout and run it on the track. Unfortunately, with this remote control, you can only use 1 speed. The train does not go any faster or any slower, and you have to continuously keep pressing the button in order for the train to run. If you release the button, the train will stop. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get to the exciting stuff, at least exciting stuff for me. So let's go ahead and compare those 2 amazing locomotives made out of the Lego bricks. What I mean by comparing them, I don't mean I'm actually going to compare the electric Crocodile Locomotive against, you know, the steam locomotive. Obviously, it's 2 different locomotives from 2 different eras, made by 2 different purposes and in different countries, or I guess continents. But what I mean, I'm going to go ahead and compare the actual Lego models. So a little bit of a background, the history on this locomotive. This is once again Swiss Crocodile Locomotive Class CE 6-2. It's 2662 configuration. This locomotive was built between 1919 and actually retired close to 1960s, and actually some of them were used all the way up to 1986. This locomotive was used in freight and the passenger transportation. Total of 51 locomotives were built, and there's still 7 that were preserved and are located in various museums. Some actually still are operational. This is S160 USATC, United States of America Transportation Corps. This is obviously a steam locomotive. It's 280 class configuration. This locomotive was built in 1942 to 1945 for after-war efforts, mostly in Europe. It was predominantly used in freight transportation. Many of those locomotives were used well into the 1970s and even into 1980s. There are a few that are being preserved right now in different museums around the world. And at this time, there's at least one that's being restored, which is the Alaska Railroad S160 locomotive. So both of those locomotives come with 2 minifigures. We've got the Lego minifigures right here, and then we have the Brickmania custom printed minifigures right over here. This is the Crocodile Locomotive minifigures, very nice. And this is the Brickmania custom printed minifigures, also very nice. Both locomotives are also 8-stud wide, which in my opinion, this is like the best thing out of the whole thing. It's just because they're 8-stud wide. They are the Lego and the Brickmania, they were able to make those locomotives as detailed as possible, making them really realistic. So definitely a huge plus and the similarity between them, that both those locomotives are 8-stud wide. Both locomotives also consist of almost the same number of pieces. The BMR Brickmania locomotive consists of 1,201 pieces. Also has some 3D printed elements, which makes it really nice. And then the Lego Crocodile Locomotive consists of 1,271 pieces, but a lot of those pieces are in this display stand right over here. Both those locomotives also use some sort of motorizing functions. Of course, the Lego Crocodile Locomotive does not come with power-ups. However, you can buy them separately from Lego. And then the Brickmania BMR locomotive came together with the power functions. That way you can run both those locomotives on the train track. That being said, both those trains can be run on the Lego radius curves, which is great. And I really like that about this BMR Brickmania locomotive. I mean, this runs perfectly on a regular Lego curves, and there has never been any issues with that. And as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and put the video of both those locomotives running on the Lego track. When motorizing Brickmania BMR S160 locomotive, I do use power functions. This is the infrared receiver, this is the infrared remote control, and this is the rechargeable battery box, which is great because Lego used to make rechargeable battery boxes. The new power-ups do not have one of those, which is very unfortunate. With this remote control, I can control the speed and also can control the light. Let's go ahead and add some rolling stock. Now let's go ahead and talk about some differences. Well, the elephant in the room is that this Brickmania BMR locomotive is really expensive. I mean, this locomotive MSRP was $860. Lego locomotive on the other side is only about $100 plus the tax or wherever place that you're located. But unfortunately, it doesn't come with the motorized parts, so you do end up paying almost like an additional $100 or close to 100 euros in power up parts to make it run on a track. Overall, still, this locomotive going to be a lot more expensive, actually close to be 4 times more expensive. But now the question is it worth it paying so much more for something like this? Obviously, the obvious answer to me it was, because This locomotive is really detailed. As you can see here, there's a bunch of gribbling, there's tubes. I mean, this is as realistic as it can get, you know, being put together in the Lego. I mean, you have this 3D printed parts, the side rods, and then the connecting rods, which is really amazing. I mean, and of course, this is based on the actual real locomotive. On the other side, I mean, you can look at this set, Emerald Knight set, which retired. I mean, that set is also now very expensive, and there are, of course, people that are willing to pay that much. I definitely don't regret buying this and adding this to my collection. So definitely a worthy buy for me. So in conclusion, I'm actually really happy and excited that LEGO decided to release this very realistic looking crocodile locomotive. I do hope that LEGO will continue producing more of those type of trains. Actually, maybe even creating some rolling stocks, or even maybe like a train shed or a train station, just the way they used to do it in the 90s and even 80s. I hope you enjoyed this little video of me putting together Crocodile and doing a little bit of review and comparison of a locomotive. I sure did. I apologize for any kind of issues with the audio. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.